In this case, we want to create a very simple macro that will hide the columns we don't want. So in this case, I want to be able to choose a month here, and depending what I choose, I then must click the hide button and all the others will be hidden, and then we can unhide it. So the way to do this is you'll see in row 1, I'm going to create a formula here. The reason I use row 1 is because it's unlikely to move around. We're going to create a formula, but this can be anything that tells you what must be hidden or not hidden. And there's only one issue here, is that one of them must be text and the other a number. So I'm going to create an if function. And all this if function is going to say is this cell here equal to whatever we choose there? And I'm going to put my dollar signs on. If it is, I'm going to say if it is matching, then put a 1 and notice it's a number. If it's not matching, I'm going to use text and I can use the word hard. Now these are the important things. It doesn't matter what number you use or what word you use. All that matters is that it is a number or a word. When I say OK, you'll see I can now copy this across. And what you'll see, I've now got the formula, and depending what I do here, so if I change that to February, you'll see the hard and the ones change. So this is the first step, but the most important step. We're now going to record a very simple macro. So what we do is we go to View, Macros, and you'll see there's a Record Macro option. I'm going to give it a name, so I'm going to say hard columns. I'm going to store it in this workbook, that's fine. I'm going to say OK, and we're now recording. And all we're going to do is where you've created these formulas, I'm going to highlight them, so Control Shift and right arrow, so they're all highlighted. I'm then going to go to Home, Find and Select, go to Special. And what you'll see here, we've got the option to say, please select any formulas that end up as numbers or text. So we now know that anything that ends up as text, so I'm going to switch these off, those are the ones we're going to hide. So we want Excel just to highlight those cells. So I'm going to say OK. And you'll see it's highlighted all of them except the ones, because it was the text. I can then go, and if I go to my under Home, Format, you'll see we've got hard and unhide. I'm going to say hard columns, and it does that. Okay, so far so good. The macro is recorded. We're going to stop recording now. Just to make it easier to play with, I've created a little button. At the moment it hasn't been assigned to anything. I'm just going to right click on it. I'm going to assign a macro, and we're going to use the hard columns. I'm going to say OK. And then I'm just going to record another macro quickly so we can unhide things quickly. So same thing, we're going to go View, Macro, Record Macros. We'll just call it Unhide Columns. And this one's very simple. I'm just going to highlight the columns like that, right click on it and say Unhide, and stop the recording. I'm going to just assign this macro. I'm going to say Unhide Columns. Okay. So now what you'll see is if I click hard, it immediately runs through and hides it. When I go unhide, it shows all of them. If I change this, so now I change that to be, let's say, March, the formulas have changed. When I run my macro, you'll see now only March shows, and then we can unhide the macro. This row can now be hidden, and you can create whatever formula you want here, or at worst, you could just type in the word hard and the numbers. But just keep in mind that for this trick to work, one must be text and one must be number. the last thing to remember is this was a normal XLSX. So if I want to save the macro, I'm going to have to do a file save as. And we'll see where we're going to put it. And the important thing here is you're going to have to change it from an Excel workbook to an Excel macro enabled workbook. You can say save. And you're now ready. You can open it and easily hide and unhide columns depending on where you are in the period.